Hello, my name is Brad Eglin, and I'm here to talk to you about how to report status on a project. About myself, I've got 25 plus years in the IT industry as a manager, development manager, developer, project manager, consultant, and author. And this video is brought to you by Project Smart. The website is www.projectsmart.co.uk. I recommend you check it out because it's got lots of information on everything and anything project management. It's got PM books you can purchase, free ebooks you can download, templates that are available to you, lots of PM tips, lots of project management articles, and a separate forum section where you can go off and network with other project managers and ask questions and respond to their questions. It's a great place to connect and to share knowledge and to look for knowledge. It's valuable to new project managers or wannabe project managers on up to the most experienced project managers you can find. So I recommend you check it out. They also have a Facebook presence and Twitter presence and a LinkedIn presence. So I think everything you can find out there in social media and on their website would be very helpful. I found it to be very helpful. So, okay, what I want to talk to you today about is how to report status on a project. And I don't want to explain to you or tell you how to report, what to report on a project status report, because that's going to be defined pretty much by your organization and your methodology that your organization is using. They usually have a project reporting template that they want you to follow. I know most of the organizations I've worked for have. Also, you're going to want to tailor that to your customers' needs. You're going to tailor it to the project. Some small projects you don't need to report that much. Some large projects you need to report massive amounts of information. Some customers want to see detailed financial information on status reports and some don't. So you're going to take what your organization says you need to report, and you're going to have to tailor that to the customer's wants and needs. So that's not what I want to talk about. But what I want to tell you about is how to prepare for that project status reporting process, how to carry it out, and why it's valuable. So let's talk about setting the stage for that first. The communication aspect of the project, to me, is the most important job of the project manager. And you set that expectation early on at a formal. I think it's very important to have a formal project status project kickoff meeting, and that may be 40 individuals together at the beginning of the project for 2 or 3 days, or it might be the project manager and the one customer person on the project customer side, and on a phone call for an hour. I mean, it could be as simple as that. But you need to have that formal kickoff that talks about how you're going to manage the project, when you're going to meet, when you're going to have status meetings, what kind of status report you're going to have, and you're going to go through the project draft schedule and talk about milestones and deliverables as well too. You set those expectations at that point. Next, as far as actually getting to the project status reporting process, let's say, for example, you decide with the customer to have Thursday calls. So every Thursday, and I recommend you do this weekly and never cancel. Let me explain why you never cancel project status calls with the customer. Because one, if you never cancel calls with the customer, they are always expecting you to be there. They're always expecting they need to be there. They take that that engagement aspect and importance of the meeting to be highly critical. They believe in you. They have confidence in your ability, more confidence in your ability to deliver because you're consistent. Consistency is huge for the project manager. You start canceling meetings and people stop showing up, and then that frustrates customers, and pretty soon they start calling your CEO wondering what's going on with the project, and you definitely don't want that to happen. So always have the meeting, even if it's 5 minutes, to get together and say, not much is going on right now. How are you doing? Because, and that's fine as well, because we'll have dead points in our project, but hold those meetings every week. So let's say you're having a Thursday call with the customer. On Wednesday or Tuesday, 1 to 2 days in advance, gather your team together and go through the previous status report and the project schedule that you've revised with the latest and greatest information, and go through the tasks that are assigned to each individual, get updates to the project schedule, get updates to the project status report, and find out, any new issues, any concerns about risks that you identified early in the project, jumping up and biting you. Basically, this is your time to meet with your internal team, and as a project manager, you usually know most about what's going on with the project, but your team is out there working every day on the project. They're out there working with the customer, and things are happening that you may or may not know about. This is your chance to get that information. So the latest and greatest information can go into that status report that you then produce after that meeting to distribute to everybody who is a stakeholder in the project. You may not want to deliver the same information to everybody, and let me get into that in a second. But so you get the information from your team, you put together a new status report based using the previous weeks as a basis, and you talk about, and the main categories of a status report I always firmly believe in should be what's completed, and eventually things drop off that list, but what's completed, what's currently happening, and what's happening next. And if you can show the customer those things and they are happy with that on a weekly basis, they're going to be a pretty happy customer that you know where you are and what things are happening. So your team's helping you make sure that's the most up-to-date information you can provide. You produce that information, you send it out to the customer in advance, preferably the day before or at least the evening before, so they have a chance to look it over before you meet with them. You don't want to surprise them and hand it to them at the meeting. And then you're going through that, you're using that status report. You're also, as a part of that internal meeting, you're revising the project schedule with the latest and greatest. You want to find out from your tech lead that they're 75% done with a major critical development task so that you can report that to the customer. And as these team members are explaining things to you, they're owning these tasks and they're being involved, they're engaged, and they can also be responsible for presenting at the next day's project status call. So then we get to the day of the project status meeting. You're reporting status on the project based on two major things: the status report and the status project schedule. And you have presented them with the latest and greatest of both of those. Now, during that meeting, as the project manager, you're the primary note taker, you're the primary reporter of status. So you're leading that meeting, but look to your team to also present status, because on their tasks that they're responsible for, their deliverables, because it gives them, like as I say, they're more engaged, they own tasks. Who knows, you might be mentoring the next great project manager out of that group as well, because many of those individuals do aspire to be project managers at some point, no matter how crazy that might sound. And as your project customer sees the entire team involved in the status reporting process, they're very confident in the team's ability to deliver and that everybody knows what's going on. Following that status call with the customer, revise that status report with your notes and send that out to everyone, so that within 24 hours, if at all possible, and ask for them to report back within 24 hours of anything that they think may be different than what you've reported. Because what you want is everybody on the same page as you approach the next week, as you roll into the next week and all the tasks that you all have to work on. You want to avoid any misunderstandings. So report that status back to them, report your notes back to them, and ask for them to provide you with feedback. So what we've talked about, at that point you've completed basically the whole status reporting process for the week, and you're ready to move into the next week's work and the next week's preparation for the next status call. So what we've covered is set communication expectations early on, when you're going to have the meeting, what type of meeting you're going to have, and what's going to be reported on the project status report. Meet with your internal team before the formal call with the customer in order to get the latest and greatest status information and get their engagement on their tasks and ownership, so they can be prepared to report should you need them to. Call on them. I don't always have my team report on their project items, but oftentimes I do, and they enjoy doing it. And then hold that formal meeting with the project customer and they're going to be very happy with the detail that you can present to them, and to see the team provide them with the status information on a weekly basis. Again, never cancel a meeting if you can at all avoid it, because even if it's a 5-minute call, because it's very important that they see consistency on your delivery side. And one final note, you should extend those status reports to your executive team. What you provide them with may be different, a higher level. I hate to produce multiple types of reports, so I usually try to give them what I'm giving the customer until they ask for something different. Just that they're getting it, seeing it, and reading it is important enough, because you may need them to knock down roadblocks at some point on the project, and you've given them reports every week and they have no excuse not to be somewhat knowledgeable on your project. And one other final note, as far as what you include on the status report, I like to include issues and risks and financial information. That's up to you, that's up to the methodology of your organization, and it's up to the customer. I've had customers that don't want any financial information on there because they distribute it within their organization, widely, and they don't want that seen, but they may want it in a separate report. So that's kind of something you work out with the customer. Again, I've enjoyed presenting this information to you. If you have any questions, please respond in the information below the video on YouTube. My email is brad@bradeglund.com. That's EGELAND for the last name. My website is bradeglund.com as well. You can reach me through that. But I strongly suggest you check out the Project Smart website at www.projectsmart.co.uk. It's great information, great forum out there. You'll see some of my articles and forum contributions as well. But it is a great place to network with other project managers all around the world and share your knowledge with them as well. Thank you very much.